Welcome to day 5 of RPGaDay 2026. Continuing my world building efforts by building up some factions. This will be the 5th faction I'll be building, and we're going to start off as per usual with a die roll on the level 10 dungeon tables in the DMG Monster Manual and Monster Manual 2 and Fiend Folio to generate some type of faction leadership. So I've got 90% or 9, depending on which table we're looking on. For DMG, that lists no encounter. For Fiend Folio, 90% is vampire. We already have a vampire, so we may check that. Let's see, Monster Manual 2, a 9 is an Iron Golem, which that tracks me as more of a follower than a faction leader. But potentially, maybe it's a self-aware Iron Golem. Let's write that down. And let's look at the level 9 table and see what we have for that. In the Monster Manual, we have a character party. In the Fiend Folio, that's going to give us a Will of the Wisp. I don't think that's much of a faction leader. I'm not sure if they're even intelligent. DMG, that will give us also a Will of the Wisp. So, given all the options there, I think we might just go with the Iron Golem. So, terrain type. For this faction, where are they located? They're located in the hills. And now let's get some minions for this Iron Golem. So we shake up the dice, we roll them out. We get a 60 or a 6. So the Monster Manual 2 is going to give us a Harpy from that entry. And the Fiend Folio with a 60 is going to give us Lycanthrope. And then the Dungeon Master's Guide will give us, with a 60 in the hills, men. So some type of men. And let's look at the level 9 and see if there are any interesting entries from the 60 or 6 from there. From the Fiend Folio, that would give us a Pyro Hydra with 12 heads. From the Fiend Folio, that will give us a Purple Worm. And from the Dungeon Master's Guide, that is going to give us, where is the table? There it is. A Purple Worm. So now looking at the subtables for the Lycanthropes, we're going to get a 64, which would give us werewolves. And then on the men subtable under hills, that's going to give us a 46, which would give us merchants. So that's an interesting combination of roles we've got there. A Harpy, a Pyro Hydra, Purple Worm, Lycanthrope, Werewolf, and men merchants. I don't think the Harpies would fit in there, so I'm going to take them off the list. But I think the rest could make for an interesting mix for a faction. So now let's go to our Midnight Muscadines cards and pick first an attitude. So the attitude of this faction is happy, helpful. And then the morale of this faction is unshaken. The complication for this faction is Malfunction. I think that fits in pretty well with the Iron Golem. The advantage of this faction is Adversary Mistake. And then the action of this faction is Embarrassed About. And then lastly, the object or subject of that action is either a relative or marmoteer, which I think is specific to the Midnight Muscadines game. So I'm going to draw again with a subject of peddler. So Embarrassed About, a peddler, or a relative. Actually, on the second card for object, it has a romance, so I'll throw that in there as an option as well. For the potential for this faction, the 5th faction of the 6 we're going to have in this process. So thank you for listening. Hope you're enjoying other RPGaDay 2026 blog posts or podcasts or videos or just simple posts on social media. However you're interacting with them, seek them out. Look for the hashtag RPGaDay 2026. You might be surprised what you'll find. If you're not participating, I encourage you to participate. You don't have to do it every day. Just show your joy of role-playing games.